it's Kathy, and welcome back here to my YouTube channel and back here in my craft room. Thanks so much for tuning in. And today we're going to do a little project using some of the Christmas items from the Stampin' Up! Mini catalog, September through December. And most of the items in there are fall and Christmas. So it's a great time to do your Thanksgiving cards. It's a great time to get products for all of your Christmas cards. So today we're going to be using our Pretty Peacock ink. I've got two stamp sets, but the star of the show is the Merriest Tree. I'm only going to use this one for the sentiment, but stay tuned because I'm working on something with this now, and I think you're going to love it. So we're using that just for the Merry Christmas. And then I've pulled some of the dies out of here, and I have pre-cut some of it, but not everything. So what we're going to do, and also I'm going to use the Snowflake Sky Embossing folder. And I already pre-cut some little pieces here. This is some trim for the tree, the stars, and the actual stand for the tree. And that's only going to go on one of our trees, but you'll see that. I also have a piece of 8.5 by 11 Lost Lagoon cardstock. And we also have a piece of vellum. So let's go ahead and get our paper trimmer out, and we are going to start trimming. We're going to start off with our piece of Lost Lagoon, and we're just going to cut a card base off of this. So it's going to be a 5.5 because half of 11 is 5.5, and I have this at the top on the 11-inch side. So bring it to 5.5 and put a slice. We're going to save this piece because that's another card base. Then what we're going to do is lay this to the side for right now. And I'm going to cut a mat from this. And I know that a mat needs to be 4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and slice this at 4. And we're going to lay this piece over here. I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to slice it at 5 1/4. So now we have this piece cut, and we have our card base done. The next thing that I want to do is score my card base, and I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored scoring tool to do that. I get a much better fold by using this than I do using my scoring or my score on my trimmer. So I'm going to come to 4.5 because this is the 8.5-inch side, and I'm going to come to 4.5. 4.25, and I'm going to give that a good score. And I always like to fold into the mountain raised area. So I fold that over like so. Make sure everything's nice and straight. And we're going to come back with our bone folder. I'm going to go ahead and put my scoreboard up because I don't think we're going to need that anymore. And I'm going to bring, I think I'm just going to do it here. I'm going to turn on my machine and bring my plates out. And I'm actually not going to use these plates. I'm going to set these down to the side for right now. And I'm going to grab my number 1 plate from my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, along with my number 4 plate, which is our specialty plate. That's that one. And I'm going to take that piece of vellum. Now this card is going to open like this. So it's going to open from the bottom to the top, making it a landscape card instead of a portrait. So this piece is also going to go that way. So I want to make sure when I put it in to my embossing folder that I'm keeping that in mind. So I'm going to put this in, and see the little registration lines right there? I'm going to bring it to those lines. That ensures that I'm getting everything nice and straight. Close it up, and then I'm going to lay it onto here. Put my number 4 plate over it, and I'm going to shoot this through my electronic cutting machine. And the plates work beautifully for both machines. So I find out that in embossing, I do much better using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine plates. So we've got this all embossed. So let's put these up. And open this up. And look how gorgeous that is. Isn't that beautiful? Love it, love it, love it. All right, I'm going to put the embossing folder up. And I want to bring my card base over. No, before I do that, let's cut some trees. And I think I'm going to cut using this. And I'm going to grab those cut plates again for my Big Shot. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to stamp my trees before I cut them. So that's where that pretty peacock comes in. And our stamp set from Merriest Trees. And you can see we've got a tree here and we have a tree here. But you can cut these at any point that you want them. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my first tree on a solid. I think this one I'm going to stamp it in the Lost Lagoon. So we're going to do tone on tone. And that's for that solid image. And then when we come back and stamp our other image, I think it's going to be gorgeous. So that I can make sure that I'm getting a perfect image, I am going to grab my stamp wheel. Move my ink up there just a bit. I may have to cut this paper down. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm just going to use a pair of scissors. It doesn't matter with this. It didn't like I need a straight cut. So I'm just going to take my scissors and cut off a piece like that. And I know that I'm going to need one larger tree. I'm going to put this into my corner and press my paper onto that mat. That's what keeps everything from moving. And then I'm going to pick up my stamp and I'm going to flip it. And once I got that in, then I'm going to take my Lost Lagoon and I'm going to ink up that side image. And I'm going to flip it, line up my top part, put this down and give it a good rub. Now, the good thing about using a stamp positioner is if I don't get it all, I can just come in and re-ink. And see, it definitely needs to be re-inked. So I'm going to put that up in the top again. Grab my ink. Something like that. And then we're going to flip it again, line everything up, give it a press. And that's still not getting it right where I want it. So I'm going to put it back in there, and I'm going to bring in my impressionable. And all that is a stamp. It's a contraption like this, and it helps you rub and get that ink pressed into the paper. Let's see if that turned out better. That's a little bit better. I think I can live with that. So let's go ahead and turn this one over. And I'm going to grab a tiny bit of stamp cleaner. And because this wheel is sealing everything in, I can spray this directly on my stamp. And I don't have to worry about it getting on my paper. And I love that for that reason. I can actually come in now with one of my cloths. And I can get all of that ink off. If you look on my online Crafting Favorites, it is not the Stampin' Up site, but I have an online Amazon store, and I have all the links for the products that I use that aren't Stampin' Up, like these wonderful microfiber cloths. And these actually say that they're washcloths. They are so wonderful. And I love them so much, I even bought another set in white that I use for actual taking off my makeup because they work beautiful for that. So they're on my online store if you would like to look at them and maybe if you would like to purchase them. Now I'm going to leave that right there and I'm going to turn this over. And nope, I'm going to turn it back this way. Turn it back this way. We're going to grab that other tree, which is the detail. That's this one right here. And what I want to do is I want to lay this on and get everything lined up as best as I can. Something like that. Once I'm pleased with it, then I'm going to put my stamp wheel down, pick it up, turn it, and now we're going to ink it, not in the Lost Lagoon, but in the Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to close that one up. Now I'm going to get this one opened. This is a darker color, so we're going to hope that this is going to give us the effect that we want. So turn that over, line everything up, and give that a good press. Let's come in with our impressionable. And let's see. Pretty good, but I think I'm going to ink it one more time. I'm going to grab this cloth and just clean that ink up off of my wheel. Well, not the wheel itself, but yes, it is the wheel. And I'm going to go ahead and re-ink this. And turn it over, line everything up, and give it another good go. Oh, and that is much better. I like that. So we're going to go with that. So I'm going to leave my inks out. I am going to close this one because we got to stamp 2 more trees, 2 of the little ones. So I'm going to clean this stamp off, and I'm not going to give it a good go. I'm just going to wipe it a little bit because we are going to go in with that Pretty Peacock on the next piece. And I think I'm going to do it first and see exactly how pretty that turns out. If I don't like the way this turns out, we're going to come back and stamp those trees in white. But I like them in this color. I think they're very attractive, and it's going to look so pretty when we put it down on the Lost Lagoon. So we are going to go ahead and stamp that tree again. But this time, like I said, we're going to ink this up in the Pretty Peacock. We're going to do it the opposite. And you're going to need 3 of these trees. Give this a good press. That looks good. Now let's clean this one. I'm going to turn this at a slight angle. Once your cleaner gets a load in here, it's just like having a Windex bottle that you have to kind of turn it a little bit to get it to clean. And the same thing happens with your Stampin' Mist. I need that right there, but that's not going to work. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this off. We're going to lay it here. Like so. And then all I'm going to do is line this back up, pick it up, and turn it over, and I'm going to ink it again. And now I'm going to flip it, line it up, and give it a good press. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to turn this back over, and hopefully I got enough. Maybe not. We'll bring our Stampin' Mist back over, and this is my Stampin' Mist. And this bottle, I've been doing this for over 3 years, and this bottle is still holding up, and it's not empty yet. So And y'all know I do a lot of stamping, and therefore I do a lot of stamping cleaning. So if I stamp, I clean. It's just what I do. All right, we're going to pull this one up. And then we're going to come in with that solids image. And we are going to lay it down. Something like that. And then I'm going to put my wheel in, pick it up. I'm going to try to press my bubbles out. Sometimes that keeps you from getting a really good image on it. So let's turn that over. And we're going to go in with that Lost Lagoon. And y'all can tell I've been stamping. I got ink on my fingers. So I'm going to go in. Let's see how that does. I like that. I think that turned out beautiful. So I'm going to turn, no, I got to take this off. So I'm going to wipe it off just a little bit, not a lot. And I'm going to pull it off. And then I'm going to lay this one down just where I want it. Like that. Then I'm going to put my wheel back down and pick him up. Turn it. Grab my Lost Lagoon. Again, line up. Press it down. And give it a good press with your hand. If you don't have one of these, you can take your cleaning cloth and do this. It just gives you something to press against. And let's see. Pretty. I like it. So I think we did pretty good with those. So I'm going to spray a little bit of this on my stamp wheel. Give it a good wipe and get all that ink off. And then we got this. We can put it away. Now we're going to do a little fancy footwork with these 3 trees. We're not going to cut them all the same. We're going to cut one that is 4 tiers, and tiers are like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to cut 2 that are 1, 2, 3. So that's how we're going to get the trees that's going to look different on each one. So I think I can put this back over here. And let's pull this up. And let's get this out of our way because we're done with it. And we're also done with our Stampin' Mist. So we can get that put away. And now we have to decide which way we want to die cut these. I think I'm going to make this my big one. And this will dry a little bit darker as the other color gets lighter. So I love the way these turned out. Yeah, I want these to be my 2 small ones, and this is going to be my big one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need this die for this tree. Get that lined up on there, just perfect. And let's see if we can run this through our mini cut emboss machine. I'll get it all out in a minute. So let's lay those over there. And I'm going to bring this in, and we are going to stack this on our plate. And we're going to put this over it. And feed that through and crank it. All right, let's see what we got. Perfecto. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, so now we need the 3-tier tree, and we need to cut both of those. And how are we going to do that? We have a large piece of paper. So I'm going to put this one down. What I think I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to cut these trees apart. Something like that. So now I'm going to put this one right about here. All right, let's run this back through our cut and stamp emboss machine, our little mini power horse. And there is our small tree, very pretty. Now we need to do the other one. And for that one, I think we're pretty good on that one. So let's take and set this down right about here. And we'll crank it through. The only reason we had to do anything on the big one is because the embossing folder that I wanted to use was larger than these plates give you. So therefore, when I got ready to emboss this piece of vellum, vellum beautiful embossed, it's so pretty. It gives such a soft look. And I think it's going to be beautiful with those snowflakes. So there are our 3 trees. And we got a little trash left over here. And we got our 2 dies. So I'm going to move those over there. Let's get our little cut and emboss machine. I'll get it out right in a minute. I'm going to stick these right here. And let's bring this piece over. The reason I say that is we need to find out where we want to put these trees because that's where we can put our vellum, our adhesive for our vellum. All right, let's put our big tree down first. So I got some stuff over here that I cut for my trees. And the first thing I want to do is I want to put this one on our full stand. I want him to be in the center. So we're going to eyeball the center of this. I'm going to put this down right about there. And I'm going to pop him up on dimensionals. At the end of this video, I will give you a little update on me in case you're interested. I did see my PCP on Monday. Also, I saw them again yesterday. So it's been a day of doctors for sure. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So now I can tuck this like that. And I want this one to come in behind there like that. And we can also put this one. This one I'm not real pleased with the way the die cut machine cut it, and it wasn't the machine's fault. It was definitely mine. So let me find my little scissors, and here they are. And all I'm going to do is fussy cut a little bit off of the bottom of this. Just like that. Just to clean it up a little bit. And then this one is going to be ready to drop back here. Something like that. But the big tree, we're going to put some decorations on it. So we're going to do full streamers. The bigger one first. I'm going to cut that off because I know I don't need those last two. I'm just going to snip it. And then this one is going to go. Tell you what, let's do. Let's go ahead and get these trees anchored because I know where I want those. And they're going to go down flat with some glue. So isn't that cute? So I'm going to press that down onto that vellum. And now all we have to do is decide on how we're going to do this. So I want him to sit flat at the bottom, but I want him to have a little dimensional through the top. Please, again, excuse my voice. I still don't know what's going on with that. It's so horrible. My voice has always been not raspy. And now I'm finding that my raspiness is preceding me. And I don't like it. But, okay, what can you do? The doctor's aware of it. And I guess I can tell you a little bit while I'm putting this together. This is kind of repetitious type things, just putting the pieces on it. I went back Monday, and he has a treatment plan for me. He did put me on Plaquenil because he felt that my levels were high enough to warrant some sort of treatment. So he has me on Plaquenil. He also changed my medicine, and he put me on something else to go with one that I'm already taking. That's supposed to help with my mood, because my mood has been kind of downhill. Because when you don't feel good, it's hard to be upbeat. It's hard to be excited. It's even hard for me to come in here and craft, but it is my sanity and my salvation. So I do it for that reason. So I'm going to put that piece right there. And then we're going to run this piece. I think I'm going to grab my little tweezers. Those are such helpers when you're dealing with small pieces like this. And if you don't have a pair, I have them listed in my online or my craft room favorites on my Amazon store. There we go with that one. And now we have the big star that we're going to put up here. So we are going to take this star. I think I'm going to use I think I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right about here. And then I'm just going to set this right into it. Like that. Isn't that pretty? And now the other ones, we're going to use just the 2 stars. So we're going to put 1 star right here. So for this one, I'm just going to put a dot of glue there and there. And now all we have to do is set that dot or that star into that dot of glue. I'm going to hold it. And the same thing over here. This is gorgeous. I love, love, love the way that turned out. So now all we have to do is put this on the front. All right, I'm back. Sorry about the interruption. But anyway, I am ready to adhere this to my card. And you know you can't put adhesive behind vellum because it shows. That's why I always like to put down whatever I need to stick down on top of the vellum, because then I can turn it over and I know exactly where I can hide any of my adhesive that I want to put down. So I'm going to use some Stampin' Seal, and I am going to run Stampin' Seal here and across here, down there. And I can put a piece across here and a piece right down the middle of my tree. You can see you can get quite a bit of adhesive on here just by putting it where your pieces are covered. And I like to hold it up to the light and make sure that I'm not seeing any of that behind it. So now I'm going to very strategically pull this here. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to press it right where I know that all of that adhesive went. And there is our piece. And isn't that gorgeous? The only thing we got left to do is our sentiment on the front and something on the back. And for this, I think what I want to do is I want to stamp, and I'm going to use the piece right here. And this is why I wanted to show you, you can use pieces that are left over like that and use a die cut on it and cut them out. So I'm going to do Merry Christmas. I might even fussy cut this, who knows. But let's see, I'm going to grab my stylish shape dies because, okay, they are my go-to dies. Y'all know that. No, where are my stylish shapes? You know, they're probably over here because I use them all the time. Although I thought I put them, oh, here they are. They were right in front of me. So I want to see if the smaller one, nope, definitely going to need the larger one. So let's take that one out and see if this will cut out of here. And I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to bring in my Versafine, and I'm going to use it. I want to do a gold. I think a gold Merry Christmas will really make this one pop. So first thing I want to do is I want to load my stamp. And then I want to prep my paper. And y'all know what I mean when I say prep my paper. I'm going to bring in my little embossing buddy. And I love this thing. It takes all that static out of your cardstock. So powder doesn't cling anywhere except where the ink is. And that is fantastic. Don't you often wonder who are those ingenious people that come up with these ideas? I just don't know how they do it. So I'm going to bring that over and stamp right there. Oh, that looks pretty. Now let's see if our die fits over it like we want it to. Yeah, I think that'll work. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my gold embossing powder. And I'm going to bring my piece over to my embossing powder, and I'm just going to put enough on it to cover it. And I'm tapping really good. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. But wait until we do the magic of heat setting it, and then you're going to see just how pretty heat embossing can be. So I'm going to grab my gun, my heat tool, and we're going to go ahead and turn it on and let it start heating. I want it to heat up just a few minutes before I bring it to the paper. So we're going to just wait a minute. And when this thing gets really nice and warm, you can actually see a red glow in it. So it feels pretty good right now. Let's go ahead and try it. So I'm going to bring it to the paper. I'm going to heat the back of it. And then back to the front. And look at the magic. And you want to make sure it all turns nice and shiny, just like that. And that is done. And we are, oops, my cord got hung on the chair. That's not what I wanted. So now we can take this die and bring it all the way up to the top of this paper. Like that. And I'm going to take another one of my little stickies and stick that right there. And I'm going to run this through my die machine. And here we go. Now let's pop that in. The first thing I like to do is get that flag off. And then pop this out, and look how pretty. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And that's going to go right across the front of our card like that. Isn't that a beautiful card? I love the way it turned out. It's very simplistic, and yet it makes a statement. And that's what we want our Christmas cards to do. So for the inside, I'm going to grab a piece of white, just a plain piece of white cardstock. Again, one of my scraps. And I'm going to cut this to 4. Five and a quarter. And now we're ready to stamp our sentiment on this. I love this, sending Christmas joy from our family to yours. I think I'm going to use this. Since I use the sentiments, I think this will be for wishing you an old-fashioned Christmas. That would be cute too. Can't wait to work with this rocking horse. I think it's going to be just so much fun to create with this, especially with the packages, the bows. We've got the drums and the little trumpet, or I think is that a trumpet? I'm not sure. I don't know. I never played a musical instrument, so I don't know. But anyway, I think I am going to, there's from our family to yours. And what about this? Wishing you, no, it's wishing you. Okay, we're going to do this one. Sending Christmas joy from our family to yours. And anytime I do a stamp like this, I like to kind of bring them together and make it look like one solid sentiment. So I'm going to bring that right about like that. And then I'm going to grab a stamp block that I know will accommodate both of them. And I'm going to pick that up. And I'm going to stamp this, I think, in Pretty Peacock. I'm going to stamp this on a piece of scrap before I do it on that, just to make sure. Oh yeah, that's good. So what I'm going to do is try to line this up so I can get it about center. Something like that. And that's going to go inside. Let's close up this ink pad. Okay, we're almost done with the card, so I think now could be a really good time for me to give y'all a little update. I went back to my PCP, and my regular family doctor, which is my PCP, he has been very concerned about me. He went on to tell me that when I saw him Monday, the reason he had to send me to a rheumatologist was just for her to rule out that it was not a severe case of lupus, but he still believes that I have a mild case. So with all of that being said, he did put me on the Plaquenil, which is for lupus, any autoimmune disorder, or one of the drugs that they use. He put me on that. He also changed some of my other medicines. He wanted me to come back, I guess, because of my extreme fatigue. And I had to have a Holter monitor put on. And when I had it put on Tuesday, went back Thursday to have it taken off. And went back Wednesday to have it taken off. I'll get it right in a minute, y'all. But anyway, I'll get the results back from those tests probably in about a week. So there's our card. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it turned out beautiful? I really love this. I think it's very simplistic, but yet very elegant at the same time. So, but anyway, getting back to what we were saying, I'll sit here just for a minute and give y'all a bit of an update. Like I said, he changed around some medicines. He took some away. He added some others. So we're trying that out to see how everything works. He is sending me for an x-ray of my chest as well to see if there's signs of possibly long COVID. We don't really know. He's trying to get all the pieces together and put the puzzle together. So once we get that, all the answers back, hopefully he'll have even a better treatment plan. He also did an adjustment on me. I was having severe pain in my right part of my neck and shoulder up into my head, and he did some manipulation techniques like chiropractors would do. It helped relieve the pain in my neck a little bit, but I think he was a little too rough. My ribs are very sensitive and very gentle. So now I have a very, very sore left rib. And I don't know if it's because the left rib was out and he popped it back in. He said that my rib was out and that was what was causing the pain in the right side because you over adjust from one thing to the other. So I don't know. I do go back and see him again mid-December. So I'll have more answers then. I'll just continue with the new regimen of medicine. He gave me some stretching exercises to do with my neck and my shoulders. Told me to keep them as mobile as possible. So that's what we've been doing. And we'll see what happens. So, it's a trial and error thing. But thank you all for your prayers, your love, your outpouring of support for me and all that I'm going through. I love you guys so much, and I thank you. Some days it's hard for me to get in especially to do a live. I just have not felt up to doing a live, but I will continue to do Friday videos unless otherwise notified. And I do most of my posting over on our Facebook group. So if you haven't joined our Facebook group, please do that so you can get up-to-date messages and what's happening, and if I do decide to go live and things like that. So otherwise, if you have your notifications set, if I go live, you should get a notification. Not everything's perfect in the YouTube world, but hopefully that will help you to get the notification that you're looking for. I thank you guys so much one more time for tuning in, for being here. Leave me a comment on the card. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you're doing. Also, drop in and let me know what state you're from. It's real interesting to me to know where everyone's from that watches. So until next time, God bless and keep you. And remember, let everything that you do and say bring glory to our Savior and our Lord Jesus. He is worthy. So until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.